But Jeff, maybe you've thought before that Amazon isn't the world's greatest company. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say like, oh, maybe they're not like your favorite place in the world for a number of reasons. The exploitation of workers, the fact that they have gobbled up all competition in internet commerce, the fact
they
that
have
Jeff
to
Bezos
pee in their pants in their vans.
Oh, yeah. There's an ambulance outside of warehouse facilities instead of providing proper air conditioning services. Oh, well, Jeff Bezos is the richest person on the face of the planet, has more wealth.
Potentially.
He's going to be a trillionaire, which by the way, I tweeted this out. What do you call, any country that is on their way to getting their first trillionaire? Well, people are lined up for food out of the Great Depression. It's a failed state. That is a failed state. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
It's not just trillionaire. It's trillionaire during this mass suffering.
If money were seconds, right? If money were, and you hear this thrown around a lot, but I think it's worth repeating. If money were seconds, $1 million is about 11 and a half days. That's $1 million. That's a lot of money. That's about 11 and a half days. $1 billion is like 31 years. He's on his way to becoming a trillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about that. Like he cannot even fathom spending a fraction of his money. Like he will. It's like he has an entire coastline in his lifetime and in his children's lifetimes and in their children's lifetimes. They'll maybe be able to spend a slight finger nudge of sand. As far as the wealth he has.
And he is using, as most internet companies are, Google with schools and so on, to sell their Chromebooks. He is using this pandemic to further destroy physical stores, mom and pop stores, because people need them. And what other choices do we have? We're forced to, if we want a product, some products, that's where we have to go for some cases.
Oh, and he's trying to get brick and mortar stores too. I mean, that was another thing that he had rolling out before this pandemic, and I'm sure he's eventually going to get to it. I mean, he was going to have those Amazon brick and mortar stores.
Right. Well, now there'll be vacant stores ready and waiting for him after the pandemic's over.
And he's already got Whole Foods. I mean, that's one of the things, man. When I walk around my neighborhood, I'm so terrified at the idea that that's just these are local. That's why I don't know what your take is on takeout right now. But I'm of the persuasion of just proceed with caution. And my wife and I, we get takeout once a week, and we try to get something. Well, we definitely get something. There's no try. We get something from a local business because we don't want to see them be gone when this is all over.
Well, but that's true. And actually, I will not purchase anything from anyone during this crisis.
What do you do for food?
Oh, we don't eat. No, we go shopping, but we leave the perishables. Well, hold on. I'll explain that. But I just wanted to say, I've been buying gift certificates from my favorite local restaurant.
That's smart.
So
that's really
we can use it. We can keep them in business now, but we can use them as soon as this is over. I would say would be okay with takeout as long as it can be nuked. If it can be nuked, then we can kill whatever's on it. Otherwise, I would be pretty uncomfortable, especially cold.
Understandable.
But shopping, I go shopping like once every 2 or 3 weeks, spend an incredible, because I just don't want to do it often. I leave the perishables I leave the non-perishables in my car for however many days. I open the boxes and dump whatever's in the box. We assume that that's clean. Everything else, milk jugs and so on, we just put on the table on newspapers and we wash it like dishes. And it takes a good hour plus, and that's what we do.
Yeah. We wipe down all the groceries and stuff like that. And we try to, we've been going, we try to get most of our produce and stuff from the farmers markets. Yeah. Just because it's healthier. It's just as risky as anything else. When you go to the grocery store, you're still taking a risk. You don't know who stocked those shelves. You don't, there's a risk to
actually
everything.
Being in the grocery store. The risk itself. Yeah.
Right. So it's like you got to take some amount of risk, and unless you just have your own completely self-sustainable food source, which, I live in the Los Angeles area. That's not a possibility for me at all.
That's actually, but that actually brings up like Amazon, these international companies. So we buy everything, even the small things, from far away. So, even food, like watermelons come from China or whatever ridiculous kind of stuff like that. So not only do we get things from far away, and manufacturing has been sent overseas, and now manufacturing in the United States has been decimated. But because we get those things overseas, now they purchase local plots of land to drill oil or build a needless strip mall or a bank or whatever, so that when it becomes obvious that we really do need to get local again because of climate change, that it will be much more difficult, because these plots of land that really need to be used for local education, local shopping, local produce, local, farming and so on, will have been taken over by some strip mall.
Yeah, well, that's the most depressing element too, or well, one of the most depressing elements. Like just this idea that, again, it's like, well, when this is all over, all my favorite local establishments are going to be cheesecake factories and Starbucks and, and Amazon fronts or something.
Sure.
And it was set up this way by design. I mean, it's so sad that when you hear small business being uttered by our federal government, that's really a dog whistle. It's not actually looking out for small business. It's a lie. It's what it really is it's a dog whistle saying, hey, big corporations, we got some cash for you. I mean, when you even look at something like the PPP loan, Jeff,
go.
Yeah, well, they set it up so that it was basically this first come, first serve nonsense. So who's going to get it? The quote small business, which by the way, they designate small businesses quite liberally. Mm-hmm. So is it going to be the small business that has a team of attorneys getting ready to get their money the hour it goes live? Or is it going to be the actual small business that has a family and has kids and is worried about their employees and is part of your community? It's a scam.
I mentioned to you an article that I wrote that I was hoping that you might cover. It is exactly on that, on the PPP.
Oh, cool.
It's on the PPP. It's on the PPP. How I don't even want to say. I would just love to see you take a look at that. It goes deep into the weeds of the PPP and just how big of a sham it is. It's not just a sham because I hear people complaining, oh, these big companies came in and stole from the PPP. Yeah, that's bad. But who allowed them? Who allowed this bill to be shammable in this way?
Why were they able to apply in the first place?
Right.
They should have never been able to apply.
Well, not just. I mean, the PPP was written to be a sham to allow this to happen. But to pretend that we're helping small businesses. Small businesses needed about 700 billion to pay people payrolls for 3 months. So Congress, who can create money, allocated 300, half of that. So hypothetically, that would have lasted for 100% of companies in the United States. That would have lasted 1.5 months. It lasted for 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks, only 6% of all American businesses got funds.
And then what did they decide to do?
That includes the big companies.
And then afterwards, they were like, well, that was kind of a flub. We're going to try it again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
But but this time, let's include lobbying firms.
Yes. Let's not forget about them. It's such a ridiculous.
The poor mom and pop lobbying firms, though.
Why don't we just replace our federal government with just an ATM that just says Wall Street only on it? I mean, because then, why? Then at least more people will know it's a scam. Then at least the mask is completely off.
See, this is why MMT is so important to me, because once you understand how things work, all of these lies go away. All of these shields of false economic concern, fiscal responsibility, debt deficit, taxes paid for stuff, all this stuff, we're going to have to tax you in order to give you stuff. All of this goes away. And what they're left with is they have to say, I want to be rich more than I want to help the millions of people that I represent. I would rather the millions of people that I represent die so I can become rich. That's what they have to say, because the economic falsehoods are taken away once you understand how the economy actually works.
But Jeff, here's what we're getting wrong here, and here's where we gotta kind of give credit where credit's due. Amazon ended hazard pay, but what they did do, they send thank you T-shirts to all the warehouse workers.
It's like applause in the UK, right? The nurses
maybe we got it all wrong. I mean, this changes everything, doesn't it?
The nurses are being paid with applause in UK, just like this.
And here they're being paid with fighter jets that fly overhead. Fighter jets saying
that
thank
happened
you.
in my state. Yep.
Yeah, and all the nurses were like, "Great, this is awesome. Some fighter jets. I bet there would be no better use for those funds." And Amazon, hey, we're not giving you hazard pay. Come risk your life for us for a not living wage. But here's a T-shirt.
You'll look good while you're sick.
That's right, and you'll be promoting our company while you're sick. What an
Oh, yeah.
opportunity!
There you go.
What an opportunity!
Mm-hmm.
So
They
we
have
just gotta
billboards
be
in all the
fair.
hospitals now.
Yeah. We're being fair here, Jeff. We're talking about the bad, but we're highlighting the good too. I mean,
There you go.
Jeff Bezos, bless him, sending T-shirts to those warehouse workers. What a guy! What a guy!
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting on